All right. Good morning, guys. It is, what is today? Tuesday afternoon for us. Wednesday morning for you guys. You guys know what that means. That means it's Bible study tonight at Wednesday. We finally came back after 2 weeks. We took a week off because of vacation, and we're going to jump right back into church history. And I think it's been a great study, and I'm really excited to get moving on that. Another thing that I haven't really talked about, guys, that I just want to share right now is that I will be starting a House of Rest Spanish channel, because in January, I believe the 7th, it could be wrong, might be January, let me see, what's my calendar say here? January 7th, we're going to kick off House of Rest in Espanol, Spanish service. And it's going to have a lot of the same songs we do, but they'll be in Spanish. The prayer will be in Spanish. The preaching will be interpreted. It'll be me preaching in English with an interpreter, at least until I raise up a Spanish pastor. But for now, it's going to be me preaching probably the same sermon. It will be the same sermon I preach in English, but it'll just be with an interpreter in Spanish. But everything else other than me preaching in Spanish is going to, everything but me speaking in English, preaching in English, will be in Spanish. And so at first I was thinking of just putting it on this channel, but I'm like, we already got way too much stuff going on in this channel. We have these devotionals, we have the sermons, the Bible studies. I don't want to put too much on it, because then it looks real confusing when somebody goes to the YouTube channel and for the first time, So we are going to actually today I'm going to set up a Spanish channel and start promoting that, try to get some subscribers on that. And so as a matter of fact, by the time you see this, I will already have established that channel. So I'll put a link on it. And don't subscribe just to subscribe, but if you know Spanish, speak Spanish, or know Spanish speakers, subscribe. I want real subscribers on there. That way I don't think that we have a big old audience and really it's just all the English speaking brothers and sisters that are on here supporting that channel. I really want that to grow, organically with Spanish speakers, or at least, bilingual. Let's see here. Okay. But other than that, guys, I want to do devotional. I have time. I'm sitting here, and we had to come early because the roofer was going to come look at the roof. We have Comcast was supposed to look at our internet, and they were supposed to be here 11 and 12. It's already 3. Nobody's came. It is what it is, guys. Actually, let me make sure my cameras are on so I can make sure in case somebody pulls up, I can see and not have somebody tell me, oh, I showed up, but nobody came out. Let me get my cameras on here. That way I could watch while I'm doing this devotional. I can see you guys and see what's going on outside. Let's see. Okay. Put that up right there. So, I just thought, I want to get a devotional out of the way. I was working on our next book that we're publishing. It's actually written by a Christian brother, Daniel Flores. He's incarcerated in Texas, and he wrote a book, and he has given us the permission and everything to publish his book. And man, what a testimony it is. It's deep, the stuff that he was involved with and whatnot. And so I was in the middle of formatting it, putting it together. He wanted me to do editing and just get things right on it, so it's ready to publish. So I've had it for a few months now, but I haven't had the time, because the moment he gave me permission and sent the book to me, that's when we got the building, like at the same time. So I had to put it on the back burner for a few months. But now we're here, so my goal is to get it edited and published as soon as possible. He wanted me to design the cover, and I was actually, you know what I was thinking of? I was actually doing an art piece and using the art piece as the cover of his book. I thought that would be fun to do, because I don't have any photos from him. He told me he gave me complete creative license to do a book cover. So it's not like I could put him on the cover. I don't have a photo of him, and I don't want to get pictures off of Google. I want original work. So what better way than to actually do something of a painting? A lot of people do that. If you really ever notice books, sometimes it's artwork on the front. So I was thinking of doing that. Actually, I am going to do that. I'm not sure what I'm going to paint yet, but it's going to be something, artwork or something like that. Anyways, I wanted to get into some scripture today for you guys, which is, I think it's almost 700, 800 videos. I don't know. I don't keep track anymore. I just put the number when I upload the video, but I don't remember the number it is. So hopefully I'm not starting to redo verses already. If I do, I'm not doing that on purpose. I'm doing it just by accident because I don't keep track of every single devotional, every sermon, every Bible study, and so let's see here. I want to talk about this important subject in the book of Romans. Romans chapter 12, verse 14. This is easier to read than do. But if it's in the Word, it's in the Word, guys. Romans chapter 12, verse 14. And it says this, guys. It says, "Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable, what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, 'Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord.' To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For by doing so, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." This is a good passage, guys. This is a good passage as a reminder for myself, for all of us that are listening. Right out the gate, the fact that it says, "Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them." Right there, guys, that is a really hard thing to do. And I know for some of you, maybe you don't have enemies, never had backbiters, never had backstabbers, betrayers, and whatnot. But those of you that have, it is not easy to bless those that curse you. I'm not saying somebody that cusses you out. I'm saying somebody straight up curses you, that wants nothing but bad for you, that wishes bad upon you, that rejoices when you fall, rejoices when you come to tribulation, rejoices at your troubles. They curse you. And here it says, "Bless those who persecute you." I believe that I would be a very bitter pastor if I chose to curse those that curse me. I would be a very bitter pastor, very bitter Christian if I chose to repay evil for evil for those that smile to my face and do the opposite behind my back. I'm What is that bug, man? And the word is what the word is. Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. I'll tell you right away that a lot of times as being a Christian, you think like either you're going to become bitter and just repay evil with evil, or you got to be a walking mat for whoever wants to curse you or treat you bad or dog you out. That is not what this means. I'll tell you how I have dealt with it myself. It's a little bug. Oh, there he is. I'll tell you how I've dealt with it. Because Scripture does say this, and we just read it. I'm going to go down a few verses to tie it in with right here. But it says this. It says in verse 18, if possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. In other words, try to make peace with everybody. Just try to make peace. And a lot of times to make peace with somebody is just to take a step back. A lot of times to make peace doesn't mean, hey, you're not going to be my buddy. You're not going to be in my circle. Obviously, I'm not an influence to you. So why even be in my circle? Or why should I be in your circle? And I just step away, guys. I step back. It's not because I hate somebody. It's not because I have issues or want problems with somebody. Matter of fact, it's contrary. This life is too short, and either there's no reason to be in close proximity to anybody unless you're an influence to them and they're an influence to you, and you help each other and build each other up and make your quality of life better. But if they don't, life is too short. Why have somebody around that is going to become an enemy, or you put them in a position where they can backstab you or they can betray you? It's just easier to step back and wish them the best and pray for nothing but good things for them and wish good things for them. That's why it says, bless those who persecute you. That's why it's like, man, I'd rather step back, say, man, I bless that person. I pray that person grows in the Lord and continues to follow after God, and God prospers them in not prosperity, but prospers them in their health and in everything that they do. But they don't influence me. I don't influence them. So there's no reason to have them in my circle, because I don't want to have issues or problems. So I'd rather bless those who persecute me, and I don't want to curse them. I'll rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. If something bad happens to them, man, that hurts me too. So that's just the way it is, Let's see. Okay, I thought I got a text. And that's why, look at what it says in 16. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. In other words, man, don't elevate yourself above other people. Just be real about it. Be real with yourself, because a lot of times we have this false guilt as Christians, like as if somebody, completely stomps on you and treats you horrible and talks behind your back, that as a Christian, you got to just take it and be around them. Yeah, take it in the sense of, okay, I see how it is. I'm just going to step away from you because you are destructive to my walk. You're destructive to my life, you know what I mean? But so I don't want to go there with you. So I'm just going to separate myself and wish good things upon you and pray for you that the Lord continue to bless you. But so, that's why it says here, beloved, never avenge yourselves. Leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, But it says here, to the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. So obviously, just because I separate myself from a hostile situation, if I see that person in need, I'm not going to just pass them by. If I see that person in hurting, I'm not just going to not care. If your enemy's hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. For by doing so, you will heap burning coals on his head. In prison, there's people that I knew didn't like me, But there was opportunities and times. I'm gonna give you a specific story right now, but it says here that we have to, by doing those things, it heaps burning coals on their head. They want to treat you bad. They want to treat you a certain type of way. Let them. But you know what? You're going to return that evil with good. And if it brings conviction to them, well, praise God, let it. Don't bring a false conviction. Mean it with all your heart. But nevertheless, it will. It's like heaping burning coals on their head. So here's my example. When I was in Sacramento County Jail, I was already sentenced, and I was waiting for marshals. See, marshals, the feds, they move slow. You get sentenced, they could take 3, 4, 5 months to pick you up and take you to federal prison. They take a long time. So I think I waited for like 3.5 months after I got sentenced for them to finally pick me up. And then they didn't take me to prison. They took me to Santa Rita because even though I faced my judge in Sacramento, I had other charges to face in San Francisco for the RICO charges for Operation Black Widow. And so anyways, I was the trustee on my floor in SAC. And being a trustee, my cell was never locked. So I had access to the phones at all times, even though if everybody else locked. See, everybody else, they would come out maybe a couple hours in the day and then maybe a couple hours in the evening. And it was those 2 hours. Other than that, they were in their cell. So in those 2 hours, they had a shower, they got to watch TV, they could use the phone, whatever. But my cell was never locked. So, I had to mop, I had to clean, I had to serve the meals, but I had it good because I could use the phone when everybody was locked in. I could take a shower when everybody was locked in. I was the first one to get the newspaper, because I was out and about, so it was a blessing. But it was during that time where 3 guys went in my cell because I refused to program as a Northerner. And because I refused and I continued to preach the gospel and have Bible studies, I was warned not to have Bible studies because I was told that I was feeding poison to the homeboys. And that's a whole story unto itself. I talk about it in my book. But anyways, the guy that was calling the shots, he was facing a murder charge. And he ended up getting a long time, I think 27 years, 29, I don't know, a long time. So he was the one that called the shots. So when they came in my cell, I didn't fight back, but they did what they did, and my cellie was in the cell with me. He got mad. He was a functioning Northerner, and he got mad because when they came into the cell, they not only respected my house, but not only did they disrespect my house, they disrespected his. And he was a homeboy from Stockton, and he was well respected. So he got up and they ran out. Anyways, a long story short, the cops didn't know what happened, and I didn't say nothing. So then it got locked down for lunch or dinner. I forgot which one it was. So I had a choice now. I was angry. I had some words with these guys that went in my cell, with all of them, all the homeboys. And we had some words where I talk about it in detail in my book. But anyways, we locked down, the meals came, and then they all had to line up. The very guys that went in there to jump me, the very guys that went in there telling me to roll it up and PC it up, these same guys, they were angry because I refused to, and I had to give them a meal. So each and every one of them, as they're mad dogging me, as they wanted me, they probably wanted to hit me with the food tray, I don't know. As I gave them their food, I said, God bless you, to each and every one of them that surrounded me. And so then everybody got their trays. They're supposed to go back and lock it into their cell. And I remember the guy that was calling the shots. He says, "Hey, David, come up here." So I went up to his cell door to talk to him. And he basically tells me, he goes, "Man, David," he goes, "I have a lot of respect for you, a lot of respect for the music you did." He goes, "But you got to roll it up." He goes, "Because this is going to keep happening." And I said, "Well, then let it keep happening. I'm not leaving. God bless me with this trustee job, and that's just the way it's going to be. I'm not leaving." I'm not going anywhere. And he's like, are you crazy? He says, David, next time you go, he goes, I'm going to make sure you go out on a stretcher. I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, I'm not Mr. Tough Guy, man. I'm not claiming to be super cholo, super bad, super nothing. I said, but you're never going to touch me again. The Lord is not going to allow it. He's not going to allow it. I said, and so you do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm not going to stop giving Bible studies. I'm not going to stop pushing Jesus. And if that means my life, so be it. And anyways, I was there how long was I there? Maybe, I don't remember, to be honest with you. It was between 3 to 6 months, maybe 8 months. I don't know. It was a long time. I was still there. It never happened again. But let me fast forward now. So I'm fast forwarding now to the day the marshals finally came to pick me up. And it was tradition that whatever trustee is there, it was tradition that the sheriff asked him, hey, who do you want to take over your job so they can move into your cell so they can be the new trustee? So I still remember his name was Officer Water Schwartz? Something with water. He goes, hey, Rocha. He goes, come up to the tower. So I went over there, and he goes, hey, Marshall's going to pick you up. And I was like, oh, he goes, so make sure you got all your stuff ready, all your property ready. You can't take no property with you, so make sure you put it in boxes. He goes, that way is your family going to come get it? I said, yes. I'll call my family right now. He goes, okay. He goes, if they don't come get it, I'm going to have to throw it away. I said, no, they'll come get it. Because I had my Bibles and my studies, everything in there. My letters, my photos. Anyways, then he says, who do you want to be the next trustee? And I said, Joey. And he's like, you sure? Because I think that even though I never said nothing about what happened, I think obviously their job is to know where there's friction, where there's issues, where there's problems. And he probably saw over the months the issues and the problems because he knew that I was a Christian. Waterstrat, that was his name. Sheriff Waterstrat. Anyways, so he says, are you sure you want him to be the trustee? I said, yeah. I said, listen, he's stressed out. He's facing a long, long time. I don't know if he'll ever go home. I don't know what kind of level of prison he's going to get sent to. I said, at least let him, as he's going through his case, let him be the trustee so he can have a little bit of freedom. Maybe that'll help him cope with what he's going to go through in court. And he says, all right. So then I go back to my cell to put my stuff in my boxes. I can hear the intercom in his cell, which was maybe 4 or 5 doors away from me. And then all of a sudden his door pops and he wakes up kind of half asleep and he goes, you're leaving? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you told him to give me your trustee job? I said, yeah. And he looked confused. See, this is the heaping coals moment. Because this is the guy that caused them to jump me. This is the guy that was plotting to tell me that the next time I left, I'll be on a stretcher. And he goes, David, why would you do that for me? And I said, because, man, I know you're facing a long time and I'm sure you could really use the freedom of being the trustee. And you know what he did? He hugged me. And he said, thank you. And his last words to me were, I wish I was as man as you to stand up for what you think is right. He goes, don't change. And that was it. Last time I saw him. I don't know how he's doing. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what's going on with him. But that was the time and the moment, guys, where I blessed the one that cursed me. So anyways, I just wanted to share this passage with you. I pray somehow it blesses you, somehow it speaks to you. Please join us for Bible study tonight. Every single Wednesday at 7:00, we're doing a Bible study on church history. And it's been a few parts. If you haven't watched them yet, make sure you watch them. You can catch up. There's only a few parts that you can go back and watch, and fast forward it to the time I start teaching, because it starts off with prayer and there's worship, and if you don't have time for those things, which those things are good, but if you don't, just get to the Bible study. That way you're caught up, and that way you can chime in on this Bible study tonight at 7:00 every single Wednesday on church history, and join us. And if you are local in the Modesto area, make sure you come through. So anyways, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much, and see you guys later.